There's an awesome thunderstorm raging at the moment. I don't know if you can hear it. It's very cosy in the shed. Good bit of thunder. Happy New Year to you all. Hope you had a lovely Christmas. I spent mine whinging with a quite serious bout of man flu, hence the reason there's been a bit of a gap since my last video. I filmed a few bits and bobs, but it was all a bit shit really. I was just a snotty mess and a bit miserable, so apologies for that. But hopefully, here we go, I'm fighting fit, humming and hawing about giving up smoking, had a wee chest infection, but all that's irrelevant. What is important is the bike bits, so I'll show you where I'm up to now. Okay, so there's the Triumph America wheel with a tack coat and one kind of coat of plasti dip on it. Unfortunately, they only sent me out one can when I ordered two, so I haven't been able to get this finished. Obviously, with Christmas and the New Year, it's been a bit slow on the postage. So hopefully, I should be getting this next can any day now, and I can finish up the wheel here. So that's looking pretty good, and I'll take you back inside now. I've put the rear wheel on the bike with the shocks mounted up. So we can have a look at how that's looking and move on to the Speedo. Right, so back in the house. I was really hoping to go for a bit of a blast today. No real reason, but that is absolutely chucking it down outside, so I'm just going to meddle around inside. But as promised, there's the back end of the America's starting to look now. Hopefully this is coming out alright-ish. It's a bit dark outside, but the wheel's just loosely on. I've not adjusted anything. I've got it all set up properly. It's just kind of wanted to get it out of the way of the shed and just have a look at how it's looking with the shocks and everything on. So when I get the front wheel back on, I need to get a new front disc as well. But I can get it off the stand and see how that's doing, sort of ride height wise. Let's see if we get a nice whoop through here, nicer shot. But yeah, I think that's looking pretty nice. It's nice and sort of slimmed down, nice and dark, looking a bit meaner. So yeah, so I'll be pretty much, after I've buttoned up the Speedo, be working out what we're going to do with the mudguard and the rear end of that. So yeah, so that brings us on to the Speedo. Here it is. This is the custom chrome mini Speedo which turned up. Again, I filmed a few bits with this. It was probably me being a bit sort of full of cold, but I had some right fun and games. The plan was, that's the existing, or the old bit of loom from the original Speedo, and that had two bulbs on it, sort of a bigger one and a little one. And I thought, hopefully, I can just plug the smaller of the bulbs back into this, just do a straight exchange, excuse me, plug it into the loom, and hurrah. Unfortunately, it wasn't to be. In fact, when I pulled out that little bulb, there was the bulb actually dropped into the Speedo housing. So I spent 45 minutes with a pair of tweezers just trying to fish this little bulb out, which was really annoying. All for nothing as well, because the other bulb didn't fit in there anyway. So what I've done, I did film it, but I've kind of lost it, and it's not really that interesting. But I've just chopped the original loom halfway down. Sorry, start again. Chopped the existing loom up a little bit, and I've just soldered the new bulb onto there, so that can just easily plug straight into the rest of the loom when it goes in here. But the kind of fun and games bit now is figuring out where to mount it. Now it came with nice little bracket, which just sits on there, obviously, and then you can bolt that wherever you want. I did think about using one of the, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 existing threads underneath the top yoke there, which I could use. So that was the plan. Kind of like the idea of sort of having it offset a little bit. So it was going to go there. A couple of sort of limitations with it is the speedo cable. I can't have it dead center because that's just going to hit the headlight bucket. So it's kind of going to have to go offset a little bit. It doesn't quite. I haven't quite got the room. If I bolted that underneath there, that doesn't quite fit right. It kind of goes a little bit off. So a bracket is going to have to be fabricated to make it sit there neatly. These come with just like a clamp you can stick around your handlebar. So we could have mounted it there. There's enough clearance, could have mounted it there. I just want to try and do something a bit different yet, because that's kind of a bit obvious, and I kind of like the look of the lower, sort of more flush, low down speedo rather than just something that's been kind of like an afterthought tagged on up there. I mean, that's the easiest and quickest way, and one bolt and I could be sorted out. But I want to try and make this a little bit more personal, So I'm going to try and make a little bracket and see how that goes. So that's what I'll be doing next. So probably be heading back into the shed. Well, through the wonders of modern technology or my ineptitude, I've managed to lose the footage of me making this. It wasn't that exciting really, it's just a bit of jigsawing, angle grinding, bench grinding, filing, but so it's going to be a bit Blue Peter. Here's one I made earlier, but that was my aluminium road sign that I didn't steal, honestly, and here's the bracket I've ended up with after a coat of metal primer on there. So that's just going to bolt underneath the yoke, and I've notched it out a little bit there so it's sort of flush with the fork leg, bent it up a little bit. So I'm just going to go and see how that looks on the bike, see if that's going to be what I want, or whether we're going to have to do any further little modifications. Okay, so that's the bracket just loosely bolted on. There's another bolt that will go there. I've just loosely finger tightened it on at the moment. That bolt's not obviously tightened up yet. Just trying to decide if that's as nice as I want it really. It's a bit loose. Yeah, it's not too sure actually now. Just wondering if that wants to be a bit lower and maybe not sticking out so much. Yeah, jury's out on that one a little bit. I don't know, it looks like it's just sticking out a little bit too much, but see that I've got all the clearance of the speedo cables. Nice. I'm just wondering if it would look better drop down a tiny bit more. I'm going to make a cup of tea and have a think on this and see if I want to change it round a little bit more. Right, stay tuned. Well, I didn't like it, so I was going through a few of my old, I always save bits of brackets and weird stuff, so this was a bracket that I think held an alarm on a bike or something like that at some point. So I've flattened that out, trimmed and curved the sides there, and I'm just going to file this out a little bit more there, and this is going to make my new bracket. I might put a slight bend back in it again, but I need to just file that out a little bit more. I've just offered it up, and yeah, I want to file that out a little bit more. I'm going to chop this down a little bit, and yeah, this is bracket Mark II, so I'll just turn off for now, get filing, and catch you in a second. So there we go, with a bit more taken off the top and rounded out and a new hole drilled, a bit more filing out there, and that's the original alley bracket that I made. So I've just got to work out
in relation to this bracket where those mounting holes are going to go, and possibly put another bit of a bend back in there. But we're almost ready for a dry fit. And voila, that's it, it's done. The holes are drilled out. I've notched a little bit there just so it fits when it goes under the yoke, the riser bolts, just because this is a little bit wider than my old one. The bolts for the handlebar risers are just there. Oops, sorry. So that just gives it a little bit of clearance, because I don't want to be taking all the bracket off if for any reason I need to take the handlebar risers off. So right, time for a dry test fit. I haven't bent that up yet. I'm going to just wait until it's on and just check the angle. But let's go and have a look. And there it is in situ on the bike. You see, yeah, it's just, that's where I was on about, notching it just for around the fork leg there, and for the handlebar riser bolt. So it's bolted there and there, nice and beef. That ain't going anywhere. So, so if I was to mount it just flat like that, that's what it would look like. But I'm planning on mounting it possibly a bit lower like that, and putting like a rubber bushing in there to aid with a bit of vibration. So I think I'm going to just bend that face of the bracket back up ever so slightly. So we're going to be looking at something along those sort of lines. Right, and there we are. The Speedo is on the bike. So it's, I think that looks quite nice. It's not very sort of not sticking out too much. It's quite a nice view when you're sat on the bike. That's the view from the rider's saddle. But, yeah, there we go. I'm kind of happy with that. So that's it. That concludes today's little fun and games. So yeah, thanks for watching. And there'll be more fun and games with the America coming up soon. And yeah, Happy New Year to you all. Cheers.